Hi friends, today on Cottage Kim Cooks we are going to make a quick and easy chicken pot pie. I have shared with you previously that we call these my prayer pies because I pray for the recipient as I am making them. And so I make them for people who have a baby, a new baby in the family, who have lost someone, who has an illness in the family, something like that. And today we are making one for a family that has a new baby. So the first thing I've done is taken about 2 tablespoons of butter and melted that in my pan. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of flour and mix that together. And we're going to let that flour cook up just a hair so that it doesn't taste raw. I made my chicken in the Instant Pot and it had some really good broth with it. So I'm going to use that broth to start out making my gravy for my chicken pot pie. And I have some homemade chicken stock. We're going to go ahead and use that. To finish making the gravy for our pot pie. So once that has thickened, we're going to go ahead and add our other ingredients. So I'm going to add the chicken. And like I said, I cooked my chicken in an Instant Pot. I have boneless breasts, and I cooked those for 8 minutes with a quick release. And I have 2 cans of mixed vegetables. I'm going to add those. And I am going to salt and pepper this to taste. You do what works for you. I'm going to be generous with my salt and pepper because I find that really helps with the flavor, and I didn't salt and pepper my chicken. So once you've got that heated through, you're just going to add that to your pie crust. We're going to add another pie shell to the top. I'm crimping my edges just like this. I'm not a pro at pie making, so this is made with my heart and not necessarily with my skill. I'm going to cut off this excess crust here. What I like to do is cut out a heart and place on the pie, and then you want to put a couple vent holes. I use a knife and just cut through it, and that gives it some place for the steam to escape to. Now you do want to put this on a cookie sheet. And we're going to put this in the oven. And we're going to put this in the oven at 450 for about 15 minutes. And then we'll come back and check it and see how that top is doing. It may need to have some tin foil around the edges, but we'll see how it's doing in about 15 minutes. Since we're making this recipe for a new mom and a new baby and a new dad, well, not the new baby actually, but for grandma and aunt and uncles, we're not worried about this being low carb or diabetic friendly. So I'm making something that I used to make a lot when I did events. And those I'm using biscuit dough. So just regular biscuit dough. The only one they had because of the storm was the little 5-packs, but that's okay. It gets the job done. And you flatten that out, and then you fill it with some sharp cheddar cheese. And then you kind of pull it into itself and squeeze the edges. pinch those, and then I roll it in the excess cheese so that you have a little bit of cheese on the top. And then you'll just cook those at 400 degrees for about 8 minutes. And they'll be nice and golden brown. And they're absolutely delicious. They don't taste like a biscuit. They taste like a roll. And you can brush the top with butter, or you could do an egg wash, or you could do a little bit of olive oil. And our pot pie is done. Has a little bit of a spot in the center, so we're going to let it cook for just about 5 minutes more to get that center spot. But you're going to cook these biscuits or rolls for, like I said, about 8 minutes for a dozen, or 10. I think 10 is how many comes in the normal pack of these biscuits. And you can use any kind of cheese you want. I use sharp cheddar. That works really well. But you could use a Mexican style cheese blend. You could use, I've done it with mozzarella cheese before and topped with Parmesan. Anything that you want. Okay, now our pot pie is looking good. See the little heart in the center. We'll put these in the oven for 8 minutes at 400. And then I'll let you see what they look like. Okay, here are our rolls. So I don't know how many calories are in the rolls. Let me look. So you're looking at 100 calories without the cheese, and with the cheese, you're probably looking at about 135, 140 calories. It is 0 milligrams of cholesterol. Total carbs is 15 grams, and you're probably looking at just a couple grams of carbs in the cheese. So about 17 grams and 2 grams of protein. So there's a little something for you. And in the pot pie, you're looking at about 420 calories, and you're looking at about 21, 22 grams of fat and 45 grams of carbs. So it's not diabetic, super diabetic friendly, but it's under that 45 grams or right at that 45 grams of carbs we try and stay at to be a diabetic friendly meal. Not low carb, but it is homemade and something that this family is going to enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, Cottage Kim Cooks, and I really, really appreciate you being here. I look forward to cooking with you again soon, friends. Take care.